Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive.
Hello.
Today we're unpacking a really fascinating and deeply personal intersection. It's about identity, community, belonging.
Yeah,
And you've given us this collection of, well, really poignant posts from online forums.
that's right.
We're seeing transmasculine individuals grappling with a pretty unique set of challenges, as they navigate their journey.
And what's so interesting here, I think, is how these personal stories, they really shed light on the fluidity of identity,
Fluidity.
both gender and sexual identity, and also the evolving nature of community itself.
Right.
It's really about finding where you fit when the ground beneath your feet feels like it's shifting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And these sources, they offer some really powerful kind of aha moments about that whole process.
Definitely.
So our mission today really is to extract the most important insights from these shared experiences. Give you a bit of a shortcut maybe to understanding this complex emotional and social landscape.
Specifically for trans men who previously identified with or had really strong ties to the lesbian community.
We'll explore the highs, the lows.
Raise the heartaches, yeah. And the surprising discoveries found in these discussions, they're very heartfelt.
They really are.
So to really get this, we need to start at the beginning, at the foundation.
Makes sense.
For many of these individuals, that foundation was, well, deeply rooted in the lesbian community. What was it about that community that made it such a powerful source of belonging?
Well, the sources, they reveal this really profound sense of comfort, acceptance too.
Yeah, okay.
Individuals talk about having gold star lesbian status, meaning they'd only ever dated women.
Right, I've heard that term.
They describe feeling so good being with them at things like lesbian night events. Finding a place where, and this is a quote, they really made me feel like I belonged somewhere.
Wow, so real belonging.
Absolutely. Shared experiences, emotional support. It was an environment where their masculine presentation, it was often just read as obviously lesbian.
So the key insight there is just how foundational that community became to their early sense of self.
That paints a really vivid picture. That comfort, that stability they found there. One person even mentioned friends telling them how gay I looked.
Yeah.
Or that they can spot my gayness from 100 feet apart.
Yeah.
Even if they dressed masculinely, but, had a woman's body at the time.
Right. The presentation was read within that context.
And it wasn't just the community aspect, was it? It was also the relationships themselves.
That came up too, yeah. One person specifically missed the dynamic of lesbian relationships and also the perceived softness of woman relationships. That was a phrase used.
Interesting. But then something starts to shift internally.
Exactly. The sense of self starts to align more, I guess, definitively with male identity.
Okay.
And this brings up a really important question. What happens when gender dysphoria, that deep discomfort with one's assigned gender,
Right.
which maybe was repressed before, suddenly becomes, well, undeniable?
You can't ignore it anymore.
You can't. We see people describing a breaking point where being called she or girl or young lady makes them, quote, cringe so hard internally.
Oof, yeah. That sounds intense.
It does. And you see this clear move towards affirming their male identity. Things like throwing away almost all my feminine clothes, buying a tight sports bra and men's boxers where I stuff a sock in, even like thickening eyebrows with powder. Small steps, but significant.
Right, those concrete actions to align the outside with the inside. And once that internal sense really crystallizes, what about the next steps, like medical transition? HRT comes up a lot.
It does. Hormone replacement therapy, yeah. Many accounts mention testosterone or T. One person felt, quote, better than ever before now that I'm on HRT, which they'd started just 3 weeks prior.
Wow, quite quickly.
Yeah, and they realized the fun they were having, say, with friends was likely thanks to T. It made them feel more centered, feel more myself.
That feeling of centeredness seems huge.
It really does. But even with that affirmation, that positive feeling, there's still this poignant struggle sometimes.
How so?
Like the example where someone described a situation, a hot girl is literally unbuttoning your shirt in the club.
Okay.
And all you can think about is how you're wearing a compression bra underneath instead of just being naturally flat-chested.
Oh, wow. That contrast, the internal reality versus the external moment.
Exactly. It's a powerful illustration of that internal conflict that can still exist even as things are getting better overall.
So as they move forward on this path,
Yeah.
one of the biggest things seems to be reconciling their past, right?
Huge, absolutely huge. The central struggle we see again and again is this profound fear of losing the lesbian community.
Losing that home base.
Yeah. Individuals feel like they can't express their love for women openly in the same way anymore.
Why not?
They worry it might come across as creepy or maybe fetishizing now that they're perceived or starting to be perceived as male.
Ah, that's a really difficult dynamic.
It really is. And the insight here, I think, is the paradox of it all. Finding your authentic self can, kind of unexpectedly, lead to grieving this foundational past.
Right.
It just highlights how deeply our identity is tangled up with our communities, even when those connections change or evolve beyond recognition.
Yeah.
There's this palpable sense of being caught between worlds, no longer identifying as a woman, but maybe not yet fully comfortable in, say, cis male spaces either.
That fear you mentioned, it sounds really palpable in the post. People talk about grief.
A lot of grief. Someone said it's hard to process and grieve this past version of themselves. They miss things like getting invites to parties, being treated like I'm one of them, and equal.
Not some scary dude.
Yeah, I saw that quote.
Exactly. There's a perception that relationships with women got harder since starting my transition.
Right.
And also this new pressure to behave like a traditional man, which someone described as simply not fun.
Right. Trading one set of expectations for another, potentially.
Potentially, yeah. And this whole reevaluation of community, it naturally spills over into personal connections, dating especially.
So how do these shifts impact relationships and the dating scene? It sounds incredibly challenging.
It really does. The sources highlight this specific issue. The type of people I'm attracted to are typically queer women.
Okay.
9 times out of 10 are lesbian. But then the problem is these women often aren't really into guys male presenting people.
Right. So your attraction pool might not be attracted back in the same way.
Precisely. It creates this really difficult situation where it's hard to find my type of people. The desire to maybe pass as male or be seen as male kind of conflicts with their established attraction patterns. It's a unique challenge.
And layered on top of that, there seems to be this strong aversion for some to being just grouped in with cis men.
Yes. Or participating in what one person called the straight binary.
It's a straight binary, yeah.
And this often stemmed from observations like seeing straight cis men being rude and loud when drunk. The point wasn't about not wanting to be a man necessarily, but more about avoiding certain behaviors, what one person just called shitty people.
Got it. So it's about behavior, not identity per se.
Seems so. Some definitely feel anxieties about becoming, quote, a regular straight dude going to regular straight bars flirting with regular straight girls.
That specific image.
Yeah. And digging a bit deeper into the really personal stuff, these transitions can bring up incredibly intimate challenges. Body image, dysphoria.
Right. You mentioned the compression bra example.
There was another really candid share about experiencing debilitating bottom dysphoria after top surgery.
After. Oh.
Yeah, where during sex, this person said, all I was thinking was how our genitals look so similar, and it almost brought them to tears.
Wow. That really underscores the complexity. It's not always a linear path to comfort.
Not at all. It highlights the profound personal impact of these transitions.
So given all these shifts, all these complexities, where do trans men fit into the broader LGBT plus community?
That's a key question.
Do they always feel like they belong? Especially maybe if they identify as straight after transitioning.
Yeah, that comes up frequently in the forums. The question gets asked directly. Am I allowed to be in the LGBT community even if I'm straight?
And what's the response like?
Overwhelmingly, the community answer is, yes, you are allowed to be here. You are more than welcomed here.
Okay, that's clear.
People emphasize that, the T in LGBT stands for trans.
Right.
The sources do discuss that straight trans people are unfortunately forgotten about a lot of the time. But the consensus is clear. Their transness inherently makes them part of the community.
That's interesting, though, because some individuals seem to feel differently internally, like their transness is less central.
That's true. Some describe it as more of an afterthought.
An afterthought.
Yeah, like my identity, but it isn't my identity, if that makes sense,
Yeah, I think I get that distinction.
They say they don't go parading it around and might feel disattached to the community, or maybe feel that a lot of the trans community is revolved around struggle.
which maybe they don't relate to as much at that point.
Perhaps. But others offer reassurance, saying things like, you don't have to perform queerness to be counted among LGBTQ folks,
Right. Okay.
and that you can interact as much or as little as you like. There's no obligation.
So it's complex. There's the external validation from the community, but also these internal feelings of connection or disconnection sometimes.
Exactly.
Considering all that, what kind of guidance or insights emerge from these discussions for others on similar paths? It really sounds like there's no single right way.
Definitely no one-size-fits-all answer. That's echoed strongly.
Yeah.
The community offers, well, a real diversity of strategies, coping mechanisms.
Like what?
Well, some suggest you don't have to stop being close with your friends or start acting like stereotypical cishet dudes just because you're a trans guy.
Maintain those connections.
Right. Others talk about embracing dating, say, bi-pan women.
Okay. Why specifically?
The reasoning given is that they are still queer women and still attracted to women the way that I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know they have more potential to be attracted to me because they like men as well.
So it bridges that gap we talked about earlier.
It seems to, for some, and this points to maybe a deeper insight. Finding belonging often means looking beyond or expanding the traditional labels.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And there's another powerful suggestion, too, about connecting individually.
Yes, that getting to know people on an individual level rather than just through labels can help you to be welcome when on the surface you could have been rejected.
Focus on the person, not the category.
Exactly. And this leads to some really fascinating nuanced identities popping up.
Like what?
Like the idea that your attraction to women can still feel queer even as a man.
Feel queer. Interesting phrasing.
Yeah. And some even identify as a sapphic lesbian trans man.
Okay, unpack that a little.
Yeah.
Sapphic
Yeah.
trans man.
It means basically trans men who still feel this deep connection, historical, cultural, to lesbian identity or community. Often it's rooted in their continued attraction to women, but it's more than just attraction.
A connection to the history and the energy of it.
Something like that, yeah. It highlights that feelings and identities aren't so clear-cut or black and white.
Definitely not.
And that embracing that fluidity, that nuance, is often the key to forging new connections and feeling okay.
So thinking about all these stories, these experiences,
Mm-hmm.
what really stands out to you, listener,
Mm-hmm.
it seems so clear that navigating identity, especially where gender and sexuality intersect like this, it's a deeply personal journey,
It really is.
full of unexpected shifts, evolving definitions of what belonging even means.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's just such a powerful reminder that identity, it's not some static destination you arrive at.
Right, it's not fixed.
No, it's a dynamic process. And
Yeah.
what these stories really reveal, I think the profound insight, is that identity is this continuous negotiation.
Negotiation. I like that word for it.
Yeah. Where embracing fluidity, embracing individual connection, that becomes the ultimate roadmap to belonging, even if it means forging completely new paths or totally redefining what community means to you.
So, as you reflect on this deep dive, here's something to maybe mull over. In a world that often seems to demand these rigid labels, how much space do we really allow for ourselves, for others, for the beautiful, sometimes messy, sometimes contradictory truths of personal experience